Yusuf, very good afternoon to you. So we've been seeing a lot of talk about farm attacks in recent days. Are we seeing a major jump in that sort of crime?
Good afternoon, Tembakile. Yes, we're seeing a number of attacks over the past 2 months especially, and a number of areas around South Africa being affected. This weekend we had a mother of two, was also 3 months pregnant. She was brutally murdered on a farm in Wiener in KwaZulu-Natal. No arrests have been made. We saw a famous Afrikaans singer being murdered on his farm in near Worcester in the Western Cape. We saw a number of attacks north of Pretoria. In fact, every forum have given me some statistics this afternoon. They say during the month of June, there were 40 attacks, there were 5 murders, and in fact the figures for July, the first 6 days of July show that there were 11 attacks and 3 murders. Now, the modus operandi is all different, but it appears robbery seems to be the motive. But in most of the attacks, these criminals are brutal. They even have no hesitation to murder and to cause severe harm to the victims. And that is a worrying trend. In fact, we've seen the DA calling for urgent action. Rural safety has been a concern, but the figures are something that has worried a lot of the analysts and even people involved in rural safety, Tembakile.
Something else that's going on today, Yusuf, another cash and transit robbery, this time on Gauteng's West Rand. Have police made any progress on that? Any arrests?
Well, it must be said that Mondays appears to be a very popular day for these robbers, looking for the weekend taking from business. This incident took place on Main Reef Road in the Florida area of the West Rand. Again, heavily armed gunmen with AK-47s. The modus operandi was the same. They crashed a vehicle. The vehicle caught fire. This particular vehicle was then dragged into the nearby bushes. Explosives were then used. The robbers then made off with the cash. The incident took place somewhat early in the morning, but again, G4S was attacked, and we know G4S has been attacked most of the times in these robberies. But again, the general modus operandi, while some arrests have been made, appears to me that the same gangs are involved, perhaps splinter gangs, but the firepower and the mere fact that they are doing it in open public is something that is very, very worrying, not only for the police, but also for the security companies involved, Tembakile.
Just on modus operandi, Yusuf, you bring me to something else that I wanted to ask you about. Police in Mpumalanga launching a manhunt for business robbery suspects who are bizarrely targeting funeral parlors. What is their modus operandi?
You see, the criminals, as we repeatedly say, are very opportunistic. They know that funeral parlors are busy with COVID-19, especially. More and more people are dying. And we've already seen 3 incidents over the past 7 days, 2 of them in Mbombela, the Nelspruit area of Mpumalanga, 1 just outside Mpumalanga. In all 3 incidents over the past few days, there were 2 robbers. And again, we know that many of these robbers are wearing face masks to conceal their faces to some extent. In all the cases, they either rob patrons inside the funeral parlors or the staff, making off with cash. The Provincial Commissioner of Mpumalanga says the crime analysis shows that these people are now targeting funeral parlors. He's asked them to take extra security precautions, even when handling cash or going to the bank or coming from the bank. And anyone with information must please come forward. You can contact the Crime Stop hotline on 08600 10111, or you can go to the My SAPS app to give detailed information if you know who's involved in these robberies. But again, funeral parlors in Mpumalanga are being targeted.
Yusuf Abramjee, thank you very much for that. Yusuf speaking to us from the capital, Pretoria, this afternoon.